right, welcome back, everybody, to another show of Flyway Connections. My name is Chris. I'm here with my buddy Joe. Joe.
Hey, how y'all doing this morning? Wonderful day out here in Louisiana, but we have a special guest today, which is Brett Mason of Oyster Creek Adventures Guide Service, and also three-time world swan calling champion. Hey, how you doing today, Brett?
I'm doing great. How about y'all?
Not too bad. Good. Can't complain.
Hey, so on today's show, this is actually a really good one that I'm pretty intrigued about, only because if you don't know a little bit about myself, I'm actually a newer waterfowler. Last season was my first season. I fell in love with it. I just recently got a war eagle, and me and Joe were talking about this, about open waterfowling, because all I did was Joe was mostly in the timber and the marsh. So I got a couple questions for you on that, just to kind of help me out. Just some curious questions that I had, and Joe kind of mentioned that you were the man to talk to about that.
Okay, sounds good. I'll do my best to answer your questions anyway.
All right. So as far as when it comes to the new waterfowler who's getting into open water hunting, what are some tips that you can give that new person getting into waterfowl?
I preach safety first. I mean, that should be number one priority. If any kind of hunting, waterfowling, whatever it be, open water. Here where I'm at, the weather can go from slick, calm to very rough in a matter of a few minutes. Just a wind shift, gusting winds come up, something like that. So I would say the main thing is safety. Know the weather, know what your weather is, know what the weather is coming, possibly what it could be, know your location where you're going to be, and also know your boat's capabilities. I mean, you don't want to be out in a small boat and weather breeze up real bad, and next thing you know, you're caught in some terrible weather. Here where we at in the Pamlico Sound of North Carolina, it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago, we had 11 boats sank.
Oh wow!
Just during duck season, and every one of them was rough weather related.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yes, it is. One of the biggest things I do preach to people as well, and I do want to go ahead and throw this out. Someone will pull their boat up to the marsh. They will put the bow up to the marsh and stick out an anchor pole, anchor line, drop anchor, whatever they would do to tie their boat off to the shoreline. Then when the seas start building up, you've got rough waves coming into the shoreline. And what happens, the stern of your boat starts bobbing up and down. And when it starts bobbing up and down, the bow cannot go up and down because it's up against the shoreline. And therefore, water starts washing over into the stern of your boat, and eventually it's going to sink.
Wow, that's good to know. Yeah. So as far as for you, what is your go-to when you go out open water waterfowl hunting? Is there a specific boat you use, or?
I have a 18-foot. Yes, I have a center console 18-foot privateer. It's not the biggest of boats, but it's not the smallest. I do know my capabilities of the boat. If I do have hunters that want to open water hunt, and I tell this up front when I book my hunters, I'll say, look, guys, I mean, I can't predict the weather, ever how many months ahead of time that they may book their hunt. And if I feel like it's unsafe, we're not going, or we may have to switch up for a different hunting location that may not be the prime location I want to be, but it is a more safe location to be
in. Okay. Bear with me. So as far as, and I guess the reason I asked is, it's just kind of more of a curious question for me, because me and Joe were talking about this. So again, like I said, I just recently got a War Eagle. It's a 17-foot, but it has an overhaul. It's not a center console or nothing like that. And my idea of open water is center console, or, does that really make a difference for the waterfowler who wants to get out there in the open water?
No. The reason I use the boat I use is because I use it for hunting, fishing, joyriding, whatever, and that's just that to be my go-to choice of boat. I'm not going to say one boat's better than the other. It's just whatever you feel comfortable with and your own preference.
Okay, nice. Yeah, that's kind of the reason I got that War Eagle, just because I'm a big fisherman myself, and I wanted something that I could still take the kids out and go fish, but when season comes in, I can take it out in the water and get some duck. But
Correct. It's multi-purpose.
yeah, absolutely. And I love that thing. I don't know if you actually seen those the War Eagles, but man, I love it. I mean, I haven't had it on the water yet because I'm putting a new tiller on it, so waiting for that to get back to me here soon. So
correct. Yeah, I have seen them. They're very nice boats.
Okay. So as far as and here's another big question before I hand it off to Joe. As far as like your big decoy setup, now I understand from watching YouTube videos or talking to other waterfowlers, it's a different type of setup versus somebody who's in the marsh or somebody who's in the timber. When you're setting up your decoys, do you want a big spread? Do you want a small spread? Do you want? I mean, how's your spread?
Now I break my hunting down into 3 categories, and it's puddle duck hunting, diver hunting, and sea duck hunting. Mm-hmm. My diver and sea duck hunting is mostly done in open water. The diver duck, normally I'll run 8 to 10 dozen decoys. All of my open water hunting will be done on long lines. And if you're not familiar with what it is, it's a weight with a main line, and each a decoy is clipped to the main line. You can put as many decoys you want on a line, and as you back them out of the boat and feed them out, you drop a weight on the downwind end as well to keep your decoys from swinging. Like I say, I run 8 to 10 dozen decoys. Some people run more, some people run less. It's waterfowl hunting. I mean, you just have to, it's just trial and error a lot of times. What works today might not work tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And Joe, did you have something for?
Oh yeah, I have a bunch of stuff. So, all right, I know he's getting into the open water, but I haven't hunted in North Carolina since I think the last season in North Carolina was 2016-17 season. What duck, when you're guiding, what duck do you harvest the most there for clients?
Well, it depends on the season. Early season, I hunt puddle ducks more, mainly for the fact there's puddle ducks here. And when I say early season, I'm talking about the start of the November split. It's normally the second Saturday in November. I'll start out hunting puddle ducks. Even though I'm hunting puddle ducks, I'm still hunting the marshes, the creeks. We will once in a while get a diver duck, a bluebill, a redhead, something like that come in. But for here where we're located, more toward the latter part of the year is when your open water and your scoters, your big rafts of bluebills, canvasbacks, redheads, stuff like that start showing up. So I start out hunting more puddle ducks, and later part of the season I switch over, go into more diver and open water hunting.
Yeah. Now, so when you the puddle ducks, so when I left North Carolina, you guys had that 4 mallard limit still on the Atlantic Flyway. How has that dropping it down to that 2 bird? How's that affected anything, or have you seen any? Has that changed anything for you on the guiding and customers?
For me personally, mallard. When you mention a mallard duck, I'll say, "What is that?"
Yeah,
I hate to say it, but when I say it. But we have mallards here, but they stay more towards Manamesquite Lake, which is fresh water. I'm hunting more brackish water. Don't get me wrong, we do kill a mallard once in a while, but it's very rare. I'm going to throw out a ballpark figure of 5 or 6 mallards a year that I've killed. And like I say, if I'm not hunting, if I'm not guiding, I'm hunting on my own as well, scouting. Mallards, I just don't get many of them.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I think my last season in North Carolina, I think I only shot 3. And that was for the whole season. I know a lot of people were kind of upset, but I don't ever remember shooting a 4 mallard limit the whole time I lived in North Carolina.
Welcome to the club, brother.
Yeah, me and Stump talk about that all the time. Like, another thing that me and Stump talked about yesterday for quite a while, talking about the North Carolina hunting, and he said this is a good question for you. so I think you probably know where I'm getting at after this one. How has the private impoundments affected the North Carolina waterfowl, in your opinion?
Now you're getting into a very controversial subject here now.
Yeah, this question.
That was Stump.
Now, this question came as a request from Stump to ask.
Right.
You.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a Stump question. I look at it both ways. And a lot of people say, to plant and I'm gonna say corn crop, because normally the impoundments down here are planted with corn and then flooded. Yes, I do see the aspect of where they say it is a flooded crop or baited field, whatever how you want, baited impoundment, whatever how you want to describe it. But ducks are pretty smart animals, and just because you have a flooded duck impoundment does not mean a flooded duck impoundment with corn. It does not mean you're going to have a lot of ducks. And also, if you do get a lot of ducks, and let's just say you have a duck impoundment and I'm right next to you in my duck impoundment, and we both have ducks, if I shoot my ducks a lot, my ducks are leaving. They're going to go to your impoundment where it's a little more of a safe haven because you're not hunting. Just say you're not hunting as much. Ducks do get in a routine of pretty weather. We have to quit shooting at sunset, and about 15 to 20 minutes after sunset, the ducks will fly like crazy. They will feed all night long. The next morning, they will leave the duck impoundments and they will fly back to Manamaskeet Lake, which is the local lake here, and they will rest all day. Now, you get some nasty weather and stuff, it will make them move around more during the day, but ducks, like any other animal, they're smart. They're smarter than we give them credit for. So just because you're talking about the flooded duck impoundments, people get the impression, we're going to hunt a flooded duck impoundment and it's got corn in it, we're going to slaughter the ducks. And no, sir, that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then that was I like one of your answers, really, because you hear a lot of guys talk about people say corn makes the ducks go nocturnal. Do you think it's the corn or the pressure that makes them go nocturnal?
It's both. It is both. It is the pressure that's put on them. Because other than this, as far as I know, ducks sleep nights and feed during the day, in most locations, what it seems like to me. But here it's just pretty much just the opposite. And I really think it's a lot of the pressure that's put on them. They have to become nocturnal, feeding at nighttime.
Yeah.
You know what I do know though? Corn does make whiskey.
Well, yeah, I've kind of heard that. It seemed like I've heard something about it.
Yeah, it was funny. The corn was probably an hour-long conversation that me and Stump had yesterday, and he's like, "You know what? He's like, do me a favor. It's like, ask Brett Mason tomorrow." He's like, "If anyone's in here," yeah. And he loves to stir the pot.
You know what's funny though? You can build a duck impoundment, plant it with corn. You can put water in the corn and it's legal, but you cannot put corn in the water. You get what I mean? So, I understand the arguments that people have back and forth.
Yeah.
You can put water in the corn, it's legal. Put corn in the water and it's illegal. So I understand that argument that people have back and forth.
That's insane.
I will say, especially when the weather gets colder, ducks are going to find grain to feed on.
Yeah.
Personally, I feel like having a lot of duck impoundments around the Hyde County area helps keep ducks here. If ducks come here and they're staying on our lake and there's very little to feed on, a lot of them are going to leave and go somewhere else trying to find food.
Mm-hmm.
So having all the duck impoundments around, the ducks learn to become more nocturnal. They go at night, so they're getting fed good. Even though we can't hunt them at nighttime, they're getting fed good. So in that situation, I feel like it is helping keep ducks here in the county for us.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know is North Carolina on the Atlantic, and this is the Atlantic Flyway. It's the number one state of the Atlantic Flyway for duck harvest. The last couple of years.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was a state that I really enjoyed. I'm moving back once I get out of the Army.
I might have heard that conversation this morning talking to Stump.
Yeah.
Be glad to have you back.
Oh,
Looking forward to sharing the blind with you.
Yeah, no, I cannot wait to get back and hang out with all you guys again. But and the big thing, going back to North Carolina, is a swan hunting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've never shot a swan. I'm probably the only one in the whole group that's never shot a swan of all those guys back there. They've been pretty much doing a lot of swan hunting the last couple of years. You got any swan hunting?
I do not guide swan hunting. Maybe if a personal friend comes in or something like that, I might carry him swan hunting. One of my best friends, Brad Gerganis, has a guide service.
Mm-hmm.
He does duck and swan hunt, and that's where I originally learned how to become a guide. I was working for Brad Gerganis, and I don't know, I worked for him 6, 7, 8 years, and just kind of got a little burnt out on duck hunting, or guiding it, I should say.
Yeah.
But that's where I learned my calling ability for swan hunting. So normally, if someone calls me or calls Brad if they want to do an open water hunt and maybe a combination of a swan hunt, me and Brad we'll talk, we'll work it out and find out what's the best days for the person to come, and we'll go from there. But anybody wanting a swan hunt, I refer them to Brad Gerganis.
Brad Gerganis.
So and that's a question that popped up for me as far as like swan hunting, because obviously I'm new to the waterfowl community. Most of my past is fishing and big game, but so as far as swan, is it the same thing when you're out scouting for ducks, or you're harvesting or trying to get some ducks or geese or anything like that? Is it the same tactics, or is it a whole different species that is not reacting the same?
I'm gonna say it's a little different. Reason being, duck hunting, my style of duck hunting is all water bound. Goose hunting is field. Swan hunting and goose hunting are very similar. The guides, they do have certain fields they can hunt, or while scouting, they may see a field there that's holding a lot of swan, and they say, well, so and such person owns that. I'm gonna check with them, see if we can get permission for hunting their property. Still a lot of scouting goes in, and as a guide, you still have a lot of different locations that you can hunt. Swans tend to move from one area to another, and over the years, it was known as swan were pretty dumb birds and easy to kill. Over the years, swan have got a lot more intelligent. And when they start getting some hunting pressure put on them, they, like any other waterfowl, they leave and they'll find them a little more safer location to stay.
So as far as like swan, when you're hunting them, is it just for the sport? I mean, can you still eat swan? That's what I was kind of curious about.
Majority of it is they're being hunted now, I think, more for probably a trophy aspect of it. When I was guiding with him and still talking to some hunters, me personally, I don't like swan. It's just, I don't know how to describe it. I do not like it for eating it. Goose and duck, I love it. Swan, I just can't deal with it. But I've had different hunters tell me different recipes to try, and I'm just like, no thanks. I've got it burned in my brain that I don't like swan, and I think that's what I'm gonna stick with.
That's like Joe and Coot.
Yeah, only Coot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What is a swan like? Is it, because I would think it was more like a big snow goose or maybe a Canada goose.
The swan is slightly bigger than a Canada goose.
Yeah.
Yes. The biggest one to date, years ago when I got it for Brad, each one we killed, we wouldn't necessarily weigh him, but we measured the wingspan on him just for curiosity. And we had one day had a 90 3/4 inch wingspan on him. That's laying him on the ground on his breast, stretching his wings completely out straight, run a tape measure from tip to tip on the wings, 90 3/4 inches.
I mean, that might have been a pterodactyl.
He was about like a pterodactyl when he hit the ground. They will make a thump.
But the meat wise, you said it's not very good. Not for
to me, it's not very good. Other people say they like it, but to me, I can't do much with it.
All right.
Nice, and I'm assuming obviously it's like it's a red meat, just like all the other waterfowl.
That is correct. Yes.
Okay. So I'm the little bit of the weird guy. I mean, I'm actually curious, so I probably will try swan one day. So.
I'm not at all telling you don't try it. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean you might love it.
Yeah, I mean, I like coot, and Joe don't like coot, or he ain't even tried it yet. So I'm gonna try to make him a dish, get him going. But so let's kind of go to to the left a little bit. So as far as you do have a guide service, and your guide service is Oyster Creek's Adventures, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, and what kind of services as far as the guide service do y'all provide?
I more or less just carry hunting. I do
Uh-huh.
not provide a facility to stay at. I don't have anything to serve you for a meal. When you start doing the meal, especially, you fall in a different set of rules, regulations, stuff.
Hmm.
Uh, when someone calls me and they do want to book a hunt, uh, I don't immediately take a deposit right away. I'll give them the local bed and breakfast around here, uh,
Hmm.
different locations they can stay. So to me, I want them to have. I don't offer the full package, but I don't want them to book a hunt with me and then can't find a place to stay.
Yeah,
So when
absolutely.
they tell me I want to say January 3rd and 4th, I'll say okay. I've got them dates open. If you will, here's the local bed and breakfast, local hotels around. Give these folks a call. Make sure you can find you a place to stay. And once you do, give me a call back. And I'll save them dates. I mean, if
Hmm.
someone else would call and say, I want January 3rd and 4th, I say I'm sorry, but I'm holding them right now. Just want to be respectful and
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
the customer. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just strictly hunting. There's no fishing or nothing. You take them out guiding on.
I do fish a little bit. I don't guide for fishing.
Hmm.
In my logo and some of my advertisements, you may see some fishing on there.
Uh-huh.
Uh, but I do it as an extra, just to add in for helping out. If you hunt in the morning time, if there's a fish bite going on somewhere, I'll know about it, and you got some free time, I'll say, hey guys, we got, let's go see if we can catch a fish. If they're up for it, good. If they don't, it's no big deal.
Oh, nice.
I know
Yeah.
my very first group of hunters I had was through Valor and Honor, which is a organization I think highly of. Uh, they wanted to come down. They wanted to do a hunting trip one day, fishing trip the next day, and a hunting trip the third day. And we absolutely had a blast. Killed a handful of ducks and caught a handful of fish. So, and actually that
Wow.
night we cooked the fish for dinner. So you couldn't ask for it to be any better.
Oh no, you can't go wrong with that. You got fish and you got some
Right.
duck. Yeah.
Exactly.
uh, so as far as let's say people finding you, what is the best? You have a website, social media? How do people want to find Oyster Creek?
Yes, through social media. I am on Facebook.
Uh-huh.
I'm on Instagram. I started a website. My cousin, he's a computer guru, and I started a website, and we just never got around to finishing it. But
Hmm.
that being said, I do guiding is a part-time gig for me. I do work for the North Carolina ferry system. I work
Okay.
7 days on and 7 days off. So uh, my last day of work with the ferry system would be on a Monday. And unless I got something going on, I try not to book on a Tuesday because I want to use that Tuesday for scouting, trying to find a better location for carrying my hunters. So I'll try to start booking my hunts on a Wednesday.
Okay.
That's
Nice.
something I'm a firm believer in is scouting.
Yeah.
Okay. So I actually have one more question. It is just kind of for the new waterfowlers aspect. So there's a bunch of talk on social media forums and stuff like that as far as using a boat in open water, um, using blinds or just kayaking out. So as far as when you're open water hunting, do you use a blind on your boat or just
Yes,
a bunch of burlap all over you?
it is a setup I come up with a couple of years ago. I've tried different things over the years. I've done the pine tree setup, which works really good. But to me,
Mhm.
it's just a lot of bushes that's in the boat that I need space to be using.
Mhm.
I've leaned to going to using fast grass, and I have it zip tied to a heavy plastic panel,
Mhm.
so I can hang it on. I can hang it on the boat. I set up a little frame on the boat, and the whole setup time is less than 10 minutes for setting up. And when I'm finished, the boat looks just like a big piece of marsh sitting there in the water, an 18-foot piece of marsh sitting there in the water when I'm finished.
Oh, nice.
Each side's covered and it angles in slightly, and front to back, right down the center of the boat, and approximately 2 foot 30-inch space front to back is open for the shooters.
And do you ever use like scissor blinds and stuff like that?
No, it did not. I had intentions of that one time, and that's kind of where my scissor blind. When I started with the pine trees, I kind of done a modified rig of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I will admit it worked really well. But like I say, I was carrying, I don't know, 50 to 60 pine bushes in my boat, and it just took up a lot of room that I'd prefer using space for the hunters being more comfortable. Extra decoys, whatever it may be.
Yeah, because I'm actually thinking about my boat. I was looking at the blinds and they can get up there, and my wife's already a little upset because I didn't spend a lot my first year in waterfowl hunting. Thanks to Joe himself. My wife's not really good friends with Joe right now, but because I spent a pretty penny, I will say that.
Well, I'll give you a heads up.
What's that?
Go ahead and plan for her to be mad at you a lot then. If it's money related.
She's all yeah. So, but so I was looking up online like always, and talked to Joe a little bit about it. And I mean, I want to try the scissor blind just because it looks easier to set up and then drop down when you're out on the boat. And I thought about just rolling some burlap. And I think I'm gonna try to do like a little DIY video on our social media.
Hey, it don't have to be professional as long as it works.
Yeah, as long as it works, and that's what I was thinking. So I think what it is just, I guess, finding the vegetation where you're at. And it's just like fishing; you just got to match the hatch, I guess. So
exactly. And that just like you say, in finding the vegetation, finding where the ducks are using. If you're on the X, you stand a good chance. And I've been 500 yards from the X before and just can't figure out why the ducks are not coming to me. And you just have to chalk it down that you're not on the X.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been not on the X a couple of times this last season, but I mean, I've had fun. It was kind of crazy because the first time Joe took me out, I mean, we went out and I mean, we didn't kill nothing. He was trying to apologize, saying, "I'm sorry." And like, what are you talking about? I just bought waders and bought all kinds of stuff, and he's like, "Oh wow." So I had fun. I enjoyed it. I definitely loved it. And definitely gonna keep on going. So.
Well, but, I've hunted a many a year, and I've always said if you're hunting just for the kill, you've lost it. You don't know the actual meaning of hunting.
Oh yeah,
there's lots more the camaraderie of it, the talking smack there in the blind each other. You missed that duck and whatever it may be. It's the killing is a bonus. That's my best way to put it. Killing is a bonus.
Oh yeah.
So what do you? That's my last question. Then I'll let Joe kind of take over. But as far as like when you're out there and you're shooting, just out of my curiosity, what are you shooting and what kind of shells are you using?
As far as when you say what am I shooting as far as the species of ducks that we're shooting?
No, shotgun.
Kind of shotgun you shoot?
Oh, a shotgun. I use a Versamax.
Okay.
However, that being said, my first shotgun was a Remington 870, and if someone said you can only have one shotgun, what would you take? It would be a Remington 870. It kicks a little hard. It's a pump. It's not as finesse as the Versamax is, but it's a good go-to gun. And as far as I'm concerned, you can't beat them.
Nice. And as far as shells, it's just whatever you can grab?
For early season, shooting teal, hunting ahead of the creeks, a lot of my shooting is, I try not to call a shot over, especially hunting up in the creeks, I try not to call a shot over 30 yards.
Okay.
So number 4, something like that. When you go in more into open water, number 1s, number 2s, a lot of times you're taking that 30 to 40 yard shot. I mean, that's the best shot you're going to be presented with at times.
Yeah.
So the ducks are bigger and you need something with a little more punch there when it hits them.
Nice. But I'll go ahead. I mean, that's pretty much as far as the questions I had. I mean, there's, like I said, I'm pretty spontaneous, so there might be some more that pops up, but I'll let Joe finish what he was about to say. Okay.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, big thing, I want to talk to you about was getting out there for guys getting into the open water hunting on different lakes or the coast is we talked about decoy setups. That's one part of it. Calling, what how much is calling play into your open water setup? If you're trying to get the puddle ducks in the open water, and especially some of the divers, does calling play a big play part of it, and what are some tips you have for calling over open water?
As far as open water, shooting, especially your sea ducks, your scoters and stuff like that, I prefer a flag over a call. Just a piece of bamboo pole or boat paddle, anything you can use for a stick, tie a black trash bag to it just to fan it, to wave it, to get their attention. Any day of the week, I'll take a flag.
It's a movement over call. Yeah, always a movement.
Exactly. Now, calling scoters, I will take a whistle sometime, and I don't know how to explain it other than just saying a whistle into it. Once you hear sea ducks sitting on the water, they have a whistling sound they'll make. I'll whistle like that a little bit, trying to get their attention. As far as your diver ducks, your bluebills, redheads, canvasback, some people say take a mallard call and purr into it.
Yeah. Well.
Dave Jackson makes a diver call that I use, and I like it a lot. It does all three. It has a sliding tonal plug in it, and you can do all three ducks that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, open water, that's my two calls, a whistle and DJ's call there, that diver call he's got. In general, puddle duck hunting, I use a whistle a lot. So when I do a mallard call.
Yeah.
My theory is when them ducks left Canada, they've heard probably a lot of mallard calls between here and Canada. I use a whistle a lot of times, more often, like I said, more than a mallard call. I'm trying to throw something a little different at them to get their attention, something that maybe they hadn't heard along the route.
Now, when you're throwing that whistle out, because I have a whistle on all most of the lanyard setups I have, and are you just doing a Drake Mallard whistle, that deep creep, or are you throwing like the pintail, widgeon, and a teal, or you just
right? I try to identify my duck as soon as possible, and as soon as I identify that duck, then I'll go to the whatever whistle call, cadence call, species it is. Yes.
And for me to wrap it up with, because I'm kind of always interested in the swan, just because I haven't killed one yet. Your swan, are you using full body swan decoys, or are you using the Texas rags, or kind of like the snow geese?
Well, that goes right back into the same question that we were talking about earlier. Swan getting smarter and smarter over the years. When we were boys, teenagers growing up, our decoys was a white trash bag. I'm not saying that won't work now, but the Swan have got a lot smarter. A lot of these guys are going to the Super Magnum snow goose decoys, and what they're doing, the black wing tips on the decoys are painting them white and painting the bill on them black and using them. So you've got I think they're roughly 42 inches long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the big guys, they're mainly, and it also looks more professional. I mean, would you go to a guide service, would you rather walk out there and see a man got 4 or 5 dozen swan decoys out there, or would you rather see him walk out there in the field and he's got 4 or 5 dozen trash bags on a stick?
Yeah.
On a stick like that. So you're thinking, what we got here with this guy now? He's using trash bags.
Yeah.
But yes, to answer your question, my opinion, the bigger is actually a snow goose decoy, but they've been painted up to make a swan decoy out of them. 4, 5, 6 dozen swan decoys is the way to go.
All right. Now, I know you're the 3-time world swan calling champion.
I get lucky every now and then.
Yeah, I do too. That's why I'm married.
Yeah.
I got lucky.
How responsive are swans to calling?
Swan, or like any other creature, one day they may respond very well. The main thing is your decoy setup.
Mm-hmm.
Swan, you do not have to overcall them. Once in a great while, you have to call them very hard to get their attention off at a distance. But once they, I'm gonna call it commit, once they turn and start looking your way, most time you're calling, you can quit or either just go down to a little small, like I'm gonna call it like a trio, or it's more like a little cluck, something like that, or just a little slight purr, just enough to keep their attention. but as I've said before, what works today might not work tomorrow.
All right.
Normally, when I was guiding, and I still guide for Brad once in a while, if he needs a guide, he'll give me a call and I'll go help. When I see swan at a distance, yes, I'm gonna call loud and I'm gonna call them hard. But the minute I get their attention and they start coming towards me, I'm gonna tone it down real low. And the closer they get, I'm gonna get lower. And once I see they're committed, I'm shutting up on the call. I'm just gonna let the decoys do their thing.
You do the rest of the work.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, I've never swan. I'm hoping next year when the tags open up, I'm hoping to pull a tag and head down there for the season, this upcoming season, to go kill me a swan with old John and Nick. Yeah, I'm really hoping is to head down there for what I do miss the most about North Carolina is that early October season.
Right.
Yeah, I really like. Usually, get on those wood ducks pretty good when they're young and dumb.
Yeah. When they're young and dumb.
When they're young and dumb.
Young and dumb.
Dumb, yeah. I probably that little, what was it? I think it usually opens up on a Wednesday and ends on a Saturday.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, those for definitely those early season wood ducks. They're still in those big groups, and like I said, they're dumb. They come in pretty easily during that early season.
If you do get lucky and get you a tag and you come down, I'm assuming you come down with John, give me a shout or tell John give me a shout. I've never been to John's house, but the area he lives in, I'm only an hour and 15 minutes away, maybe something like that. I'd love to meet up and we chat and have lunch, dinner, something like that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
I'm definitely bugging Stump and Keely.
No. Leave Stump alone. Just leave him right out of this deal. No Stump.
No Stump. You can put a big old sign. I said no Stump.
Well, I'm trying to get
with an X on it.
All them to come down here to hunt the rice fields with me one day this next upcoming season for duck and goose.
That would be fun. Yep.
I'm telling you, come down. We'll get on some ducks and speckle belly.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I've only killed speckle belly one time, and I was in Canada then. So speckle belly is one on my list.
Yeah, we have plenty of them here.
Yeah, they're good too.
I'm sure. Yep, I'm sure.
All right, but let's we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up unless you have any questions for us. Do you have any questions for us?
No, sir. None that I know of.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, we definitely need a guy when we go down there. Now I'm kind of curious about the whole swan hunting. So I'll get with Joe, and then if you ever make it down here, let Joe know. This way I can get down there and get a hunt with y'all. But
sounds
Joe,
like a plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe, you have anything?
No, thanks for being on, Brett. Always great talking to you, and hope to see you this next season.
Yes, sir. I thank y'all for having me. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Now, I also want to thank Val and Honor Outdoors before we go. I want to thank them for what they do, for what they do for the veterans and service members and first responders out there. Again, like every show, I challenge y'all to go ahead and look them up on valandhonor.com, or you can go through our website, flywayconnections.com, and we have a hyperlink that links you straight to their site. I want to thank everybody that's been on the show, past and present. I want to thank my co-host, and like always, y'all have a good one, and let valor not fail.
Can I quick throw something out here about valor and honor?
Oh no, go ahead, sir.
I highly advise y'all as hunters to look into valor and honor. You might not be a guide service. You just might be a waterfowl hunter that wants to give back to the guys that give so much to us. Mm-hmm. When John first got up with me about carrying some valor and honor guys, I was like, I'd heard of valor and honor, didn't know much about them, but John got up with me and I said, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Be glad to. And after that first group of guys I had a completely different meaning for what valor and honor does. I mean, I highly recommend people getting into giving back to the people that give so much to us.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, like you said, if you're a guide service or anybody who just wants to help their time in service, I mean, by all means, you can't do more than enough for these heroes that we have.
Exactly. I try to do a lot, and the little bit I do is just a speck of appreciation that they deserve, but I do all I can to help them out.
Absolutely.
Top-notch group of guys.
Yeah, and we thank you too, sir.
Thank you.
No problem. Like always, y'all have a good one.
You too. Y'all take
All right.
care. Good
I
talking.
appreciate it, Brett.
All right. Yep.
All right.
Bye.